Happy New Year, everybody. Derrick Soo, your Oakland community advocate. Well, what can I say about the rains here for this week? Uh, I just heard the report. Oakland Hills, over the last 48 hours, received 5.71 inches of rain. That's really good. And we have another atmospheric river lined up for the midweek. And so we're going to get some real good flushing. This is going to help alleviate the drought situation here throughout California because everywhere's getting saturated right now. We're also encountering some road issues here throughout the county of Alameda and Niles Canyon, Crow Canyon. There were several rock slides, mudslides going on locally. But here's the good part, the really good part. Not only do we get water put back into our reservoirs and hopefully alleviate some of the drought situation, the very dire drought situation that we're in, but this is also a great flushing because when I used to sturgeon fish this time of the year, this is what we look for. We really wanted the good downpours of rain and then the good flushing of fresh water into the bay. And what that did, that activated the feeding of the sturgeon in the bay, because at this time of the bay, we just completed a herring run here in the bay, and so the sturgeon are literally all over the bay, and what they're doing, they're gorging themselves on the herring roe that's prevalent on a lot of the pilings throughout. Anything that touches water and has pilings is likely to be very well coated with herring eggs, and so with the herring run, the baits that typically are used down here in the bay waters are cut herring, herring roe that has been scraped off with a scraper on the concrete pilings or even the wood pilings at very low tide, because we've had the king tides come through here, and this really helps push the impurities and the silt and the unwanted stuff flushed from the bay, and these are the things that we have not seen in many years, and that's why we've been having a lot of algae blooms throughout the bay, because number one, this the lowering of the salinity of the bay water because of the flushing kills off a lot of algae to its roots, and so that really helps in the spring when things start coming back, and it has a harder time to start because it has to start from something anew rather than something that's already established, like what we've had with Lake Merritt, the huge die-off there, because that is a dumping zone for a lot of your street water. Goes into Lake Merritt, then gets flushed out into the estuary into the bay, and then from the bay, hopefully it gets outside the gate. And this is the kind of flushing that helps accomplish that type of flushing and cleaning that the bay so desperately needs. And we haven't had that kind of flushing in a long time for the North Bay, which comes down from the Sacramento and American rivers into our Delta system. And through our Delta system, that fresh water pushes through Suisun Bay, which is a brackish water. That's where seawater and fresh water from the rivers and from the mountains actually meet up here in Suisun Bay. And that was one of the areas that, if you remember, used to be the mothball fleet. It's not there anymore. It's been long gone. Everything's been disassembled. And so that no longer exists. But what's important is that we have the very desperately needed rain this year, and so in this summer we should not see the algae blooms being a prevalent problem, not only in Lake Merritt, the estuary, and it's rare that I've actually seen it to the proportion that it's been in the bay this year. And I used to do a lot of sturgeon fishing. I counted on the wet weather, the cold wet weather, because the cold also kills the local algae that has blossomed, because it's a certain water temperature that it needs to exist. And then obviously the food is plentiful, but with all the rain flushing everything, that food that those algae blooms need is less likely to be settled on the bottom. It's flushed out. And so that's the importance of these strong storms that we need. And so it reestablishes a biological balance to the bay waters. And this is very important for the cleanliness and also the health of the bay. And the bay has been suffering because we haven't had these good, solid drenchings that we so desperately need to flush all of the contaminants and the toxins out of the bay and out into the ocean. And so this is a very much welcomed a downpour. Like I said earlier, we're over 5.71 inches through this last storm that has just completed. And then we have another one lined up for Wednesday, tomorrow night, starting tomorrow night, Wednesday or not. Well, anyway, Wednesday night. Today's Sunday, I'm sorry. But for Wednesday night through Thursday. And it's going to be lining up to be very much like what we just went through. So if we get another 3 to 4 inches of rain, good solid drenching type of rain like this, and really flushes the bay, we're going to be in really good shape over the next year to 3 years, because that's how long it takes some of this algae to reestablish itself under the right conditions. So thanks for joining me today. Happy New Year once again, and we look forward to our venture alongside with you. Thank you, and Happy New Year once again.